You know, the root of our being is our sexual drive. And when our sex drive is driving us to do things very unconsciously that are depleting us, you know, our whole life is in chaos. Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. If you want to learn more about sexual mastery, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I release new videos. Make sure you get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description below. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to make sex sustainable. What does this mean? So for me, when I was younger and untrained, sex was a very kind of elusive and fleeting experience for me. You know, I loved sex, obviously, right? But I tended to ejaculate very quickly, as most men do, right? And so sex often only lasted, 5, maybe 10 minutes, then it was over and I couldn't continue. I couldn't, have another orgasm. And it just felt like I was being, cheated in some way, right? And this constant pattern of, ejaculating every day after a very short experience of sex or masturbation, whatever, it was depleting my energy in the long run. And it was actually having a negative impact on my relationships as well, right? So as men, we're conditioned to experience the ejaculatory orgasm, and we're often so focused on reaching that 5 seconds of intense pleasure that we ignore everything else that's happening during sex. We just rush right into that. And that becomes a very poor habit. Worldwide, statistically, men last about 5 minutes during sex before ejaculating. And this causes all kinds of problems in relationships. It can start to cause this resentment between you and your partner over time. Maybe you start to feel resentment because this fleeting experience of sex just isn't satisfying you anymore. And so you start to blame your partner. It's like, well, it's just my partner. I need someone new. And then it's the same thing over and over again. And then on their end of the deal, women take much longer than 5 minutes to become sexually satisfied. So if she feels like her pleasure is being neglected, if her man cannot control himself and be able to pleasure her properly, then there's going to be dissatisfactions arising in the relationship. So the biggest issue here is this overemphasis on ejaculatory sex for men. You don't need to ejaculate every time you have sex. You can have orgasms without ejaculating. And I think a key point to shifting your focus and shifting your whole dynamic of how you experience sex is letting go of the need to ejaculate, letting go completely of any expectation or even desire to ejaculate. That is a very important step on your journey. And it's not to say that I believe that ejaculation is wrong or that you should never ejaculate. Obviously, it's a very natural part of being in a body. But when this experience is abused, as it is for most men, then it depletes you. It dries you up because you're constantly ejaculating out your life force, and you can never get enough of this lust-driven approach to sex where you're just constantly ejaculating out your life force. So by releasing your addiction to ejaculation and focusing on everything else that's happening during sex, it starts to completely transform your dynamic, because the majority of the pleasure and orgasm that's happening is actually outside of the ejaculation experience. Orgasm actually begins before you ejaculate. There's a little bit of a time lapse between them, and we just associate these things as being one and the same. So we get this, intense desire constantly for ejaculatory release. And another issue here is that men simply are not comfortable with holding arousal in their bodies, being able to hold this sexual charge. So they focus on releasing it, right? To release tension, to release stress. So basically, when you can shift your focal point during sex to simply feeling what's happening in your body, breathing, being able to delay the increase of arousal that's happening in your body, because for most men it's this very quick, very sharp climb up the arousal scale to the point of ejaculation. But when you can draw out that climbing up the arousal scale by breathing deeply, by relaxing, by circulating the sexual energy through your body, then sex becomes much more pleasurable. You become much more in the moment instead of always projecting into the future like, no, I need more, I need this ejaculatory orgasm, I need something more than what's happening right now. You're never satisfied when you're in that state. It's always, there's always something bigger and better, right? But when you're completely grounded in the present moment, simply feeling what is, simply enjoying the sensations that are happening, enjoying the connection with your partner, enjoying the connection with your own body, then the entire act of sex becomes orgasmic, right? And this is how you start to get into these deeper states of full body orgasm without ejaculating, is shifting your focus to the present moment, feeling what's happening in your entire body, not just focusing on what's happening in your penis, and allowing that sexual energy, that arousal to fill your whole body, and focusing on your partner. Focus on what's happening in their body. Can you direct your sexual energy into their body without ejaculating? Can you focus on bringing them more pleasure? Can you focus on increasing the love that you feel for your partner? That's a big part of this as well, is that loving energy. It creates this lightness in your sexual energy that makes it effortless to rise and lift through your body. Lust alone is a very heavy vibration. It's difficult to move through the body. It wants to stay in the genitals. It wants to ejaculate out of your body. So that's a very important thing to be aware of as well. So when you start to have non-ejaculatory sex because you've changed your experience of orgasm, you changed your definition of orgasm, I encourage you to redefine orgasm as simply a pleasurable wave of sensation within the body that's outside your normal experience. So it's almost like starting over. It's like assume that you've never had an orgasm before. Try to feel that you've never had an orgasm before and start over completely so that you're not so goal-oriented during sex. And this starts to liberate you because you're no longer enslaved by this need to ejaculate, to quickly thrust away into an ejaculatory orgasm. Now you can be more aware of the other sensations that can arise during sex, sustaining higher levels of arousal and allowing yourself to hold that within your body, leaving a sex session having not ejaculated. And this way you leave sex with energy. Instead of releasing all your energy during sex, you step away from a lovemaking session more charged up than you were before, and your partner is as well. And this way, sex is no longer this depleting thing that you can't get enough of. It becomes a very fulfilling and nurturing part of your life. And when you're not ejaculating frequently, you can have sex pretty much 24/7. When you learn to overcome that need to ejaculate and develop ejaculation control, then you can have sex for as long as you want. So you are 24/7 ready to go. And this will start to create this much deeper intimacy with you and your partner because they no longer have to wait a day, 2 days, whatever, after you ejaculate. And they don't have to feel like their own orgasm is being neglected because you can't last more than a few minutes, right? So this is the importance of training your sexual dynamic, overcoming the things that are limiting you from really experiencing what you want to experience during sex and getting into a much higher level of connection, of pleasure, of orgasm and bliss. And so in this way, sex becomes very, very sustainable. When you're ejaculating every time, you're constantly depleting yourself. It's just a downward spiral experience, right? It's just going to have to end at some point. But when you're engaging in sex in this way, not ejaculating all the time, holding that energy in your body, allowing yourself to be charged up by sex by not ejaculating anymore, at least not frequently, right? And then you're building energy over time. You are gaining from that sexual experience. And this can also develop a deep bond with your partner because sex becomes more about connection and exchange than simply you trying to, masturbate into their body basically, right? And this also has profound implications on the rest of your life as well. When we're sexually frustrated, when we're not sexually fulfilled, then we don't feel fulfilled in other areas of our life. We try to compensate, we start taking drugs, we start watching Netflix for hours, we play video games all night, things like that, right? To try to forget that there's this emptiness within us. So one of the most fulfilling things you can do in your life is to create a harmonious, nurturing, and fulfilling sexual dynamic for yourself. And you can do this by yourself, even without a partner. In fact, that's the best time to train to release these addictions to ejaculation is by training by yourself, learning to experience new types of sensation, learning to be okay with not ejaculating, and exploring other types of orgasm, other sensations that arise in your body other than the ejaculatory orgasm. And so when you have this lifestyle of sustainable sex, then you feel fulfilled. You feel filled up because you're charged with energy. So throughout your life, you're no longer living out these addictive tendencies. When you overcome that porn conditioning, that need to ejaculate every day, then you start to release other addictions in your life as well. You become more successful, you become more confident, you become more creative because you're overflowing with energy now, and it completely transforms who you are. It becomes apparent to everyone around you that you've had this deep, powerful transformation within yourself as well. And that's why this work is so empowering and so fulfilling because, the root of our being is our sexual drive. And when our sex drive is driving us to do things very unconsciously that are depleting us, our whole life is in chaos basically. So when you can harmonize this sex drive and direct it in a more positive direction, then there's really nothing you can't accomplish. This will bring you to the ultimate transformation. That's why I love this work so much personally, because it has completely transformed my life from being a depressed, completely broke porn addict, going nowhere in my life, to being a successful entrepreneur, working for myself, creating six-figure income, having an amazing partner, having an amazing life, a healthy body, a clear mind. This is the work that you can do by by practicing sexual kung fu. So thank you for watching this video. And I want to say here that it's one thing to, understand this information on a theoretical level, but it's another thing to take action and make the changes in your life. So I encourage you to watch my sexual kung fu exercises playlist. It's full of practices you can use to start harmonizing your sexual energy in your body and your mind. So check that out. If you want to go really deep into this work, learn to clear your negative sexual patterns, traumas, clear blockages in your body, and open up your body to circulate sexual energy instead of ejaculating it out, so you can have full body non-ejaculatory orgasms and last for hours in bed. Check out my online course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. I'll put more information in the video description below. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Have a great day, my friends.